What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this episode of Restoration with Vic. Today we got A1 Restorations back on the channel. How you doing, bro?
Doing great, man. How about you?
Doing good, man. The reason why we got A1 Restorations helping me out with this project, because he has a lot of experience working with original Jordans, older retros, and stuff signed by Michael Jordan. You ready to see what's inside this box?
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
Let's check them out, man.
Bro, I did not expect you to show me something like this.
1994 Chicago 2s, signed by the GOAT himself, bro. Check that out.
Bro, are these authenticated?
Dude, see that right there? That means legit.
Wow, bro, I am so excited to work on this. I've never worked on a signed pair of 2s.
Yeah, man. These are gonna need a full midsole swap. That's why we got you here. How hard do you think this project's gonna be?
It's gonna be a pretty hard project, Vic, but I think we could do it.
Yeah, we don't wanna mess up a piece of history.
For sure.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. The first step, as always, we're gonna take out our shoelaces and insole to have a clean base to work with.
So I don't know if you know this, but on OGs and 94s, they have 4 plastic pieces on the lace holders.
That's cool, I never knew that actually.
And on the retros, they have 3.
Got the laces off and insoles. We'll give these a thorough cleaning later. There's a bunch of midsole crumbs smeared into this material. What's next in this process, A1?
Well, what I would like to do first is brush off all of this midsole dust that's on top of the uppers, so that way when we're handling the shoe, it doesn't rub it into the leather. Because then, after that happens, it'll be really tough to take off.
Yeah, you want to be careful with this MJ autograph. We don't want a bunch of stuff in this area.
Yeah, that would be ugly.
For this, we'll be using a Rejuvenator Stop Bristle brush to carefully brush the stuff off. We'll go with the uppers for now. We'll come back to those later. What's next in this process?
So we're gonna go ahead and remove all of the crumbling midsole. We're gonna scrape off anything that's left over afterwards with our scrapers, and then hit it with some acetone to make sure it's all nice and clean and ready to bond.
Sounds good. My sole already came off. The idea is just to get all this black stuff completely off these shoes. We got the majority of the sole completely off the uppers, but we're nowhere near done. Real quick, we got our sticker that authenticates the Michael Jordan autograph. It's kind of in the way. I don't want to ruin it, so we're carefully going to remove it and put it on the sticker backing paper. I already took pictures for correct placement.
So now that Vic got the sticker safely put off to the side, we're gonna go ahead and remove the rest of the residue that's stuck on the bottom. Are you ready to do this, Vic?
Yeah, I've never really done this before, so I'm gonna watch you first, and then after that, I'll do it myself.
All right, I got you, man.
Go.
It's better to do it all in one motion. It's just, it makes it weird because of the little stitching.
One quick swipe.
So onto the final step of the prep work, we're gonna go ahead and get some cotton balls and acetone, remove everything that's left so that way we can get a good bond onto the donors.
Got the old midsole completely off the uppers. Prep was complete as well. Now for the uppers, there's a lot of residue from the old sticky midsole across the entire white leather. For this, we'll be using some Rejuvenator wipes to give it a nice wipe down. Uppers on these 94s are fully clean and prepped. We'll put them aside because we're gonna focus on the donors now. We got some 2016 Air Jordan 2 Chicago lows. These are a size 13 and they were really hard to come by in brand new condition. I had to drop $500 just for a donor shoe, but it's gonna be worth it for these 94s. What's the first step in removing the uppers from these donors?
So the 2s are really different compared to like the 1s, the 3s, and the 4s when it comes to removing the sole from the uppers. What we have to do is pretty much destroy the whole shoe in order to get it off cleanly. Right. And the reason being is because it has this plastic area on the heel. And typically when we remove these, we pour acetone inside, and the acetone will not penetrate the plastic to reach the midsoles. So in that case, we're gonna have to cut off all the stitching and remove all of the leather area first. So that way we're left with only the plastic and the sole. And then we can move on to the next step, which is heating the plastic up from the inside and taking it off.
Either way.
So this is what I meant by destroying the shoe. We had to cut off the tongues and cut off all of the side stitching that was connected onto the plastic areas. So this is gonna help to gain access to removing all of the leather from the upper. So now we're gonna go take the acetone, pour it inside, and pretty much peel it apart. All right, so you can see how badly the uppers got destroyed from removing them. And now all we have to do left is remove the rubber so that way we could get to the midsoles. Just heat it from the inside. I just start like this area and then just start like, just peeling it little by little.
Got these parts out the midsole, we'll save these for a future project. Now, we got our 94s back with our brand new midsoles. Let's give it a quick fit test. What do you think, A1?
It's looking pretty good so far. Just that front, man.
Back looks good.
Yeah.
This front part's sitting pretty high.
Yeah, it's gonna need some work right there.
So as you can see, you guys, I don't know if it's kind of hard to tell, but this back piece sits kind of flush. It'll still need some work, but this front part, this needs a lot of work. What are you thinking for this, A1?
Yeah, man, we're gonna have to do a good amount of work on that to get the toe to sit lower and sit flush.
So what does that mean?
So I'm gonna have to use an X-Acto knife and a Dremel tool in order to get this part lowered down so that way it could fit properly onto the uppers.
You're probably gonna do the back too, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna work on the back a little bit, but not as much as the front, man. That's the part that's gonna need a lot of work.
Cool.
All right, so the reason why I'm using the blade for this front part is because it's a lot quicker and less messy. If I were to use a Dremel tool, I'd sit here for who knows how long, just shaving away little by little. With this, I could just cut through it, remove this piece, and then move on to the Dremel. You can clearly see how much I had to shave down in order to get the uppers to fit the midsoles. You could barely even see any of the little holes anymore. Now the uppers are gonna fit the midsole really well and they're pretty much ready to glue. But first, I gotta do the other sole. So now that I got everything shaved down and prepped up, I'm gonna go ahead and add the barge cement super stick and let it cure overnight.
we're back. Last night, A1 did a lot of prep work on these midsoles to get the uppers to fit perfectly. He also went in and applied glue to the midsole, air unit, and upper. It's cured overnight, now it's ready to be bonded. Now real quick, I know you mentioned to me that you've only worked on original 87s, never 94s. What was the difference?
Yeah, that's right, Vic. So the difference was there wasn't that much prep work that was needed as the 87s did. On those, I had to shave down a lot more, so these were a bit easier. And the only thing I have to do now is bond them.
Yeah, you did mention to me that, like, basically on the 87s, you had to basically remove all the old midsole.
I was almost all the way through to the rubber sole. You could see a little bits of white on the inside. That's how much I had to shave.
Well, luckily that shoe was not going to be worn because that was probably going to be super uncomfortable.
Yeah, it would have been super uncomfortable. I couldn't even use the air units.
So what's going to be the process? Are you going to start from the top and work your way to the back and then the sides, or?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the front first, the heel, and then I'm going to work around the sides. But first, I'm going to glue on the air unit. Cool.
Bro, good stuff, man. Alignment's on point.
Thank you, bro. What's next?
So the next step you gotta do is work on this plastic piece on the back. As you can see throughout the entire panel, there's a lot of discoloration going on. It's not something you can wipe off. We already tried. So the next best thing we can do is paint it. So what we gotta do next is tape up the entire shoe.
Let's do it.
All taped up. Now before we start painting, we gotta go outside and spray some Bulldog adhesion promoter. This will help the paint stick to this material. Sick. Yeah, they look way better laced up. On to the final detail. A1, you want to do the honors?
I don't know, man. I'm kind of scared.
Just do it.
All right, I got you.
Come on, A1, you got this.
All right, you're right, I do.
All right, guys, that is gonna bring us to an end on these Michael Jordan signed 1994 Jordan Chicago 2s. I gotta say, bro, these turned out A1, but a lot more work went into these than I expected. You did mention that this is your first time working on a pair of 94s. What was different from these than the 87s?
The leather on the upper of the 87s and the croc print makes for a huge inconvenience because it gets really sticky and all of the midsole dust gets stuck to it and it does not remove. I still had to do the same thing as the 87s, which is dremel the midsoles a lot in order to get the fitment right, but I didn't have to do as much as I did on the 87s. The other thing I have not seen done on a pair of 2s is what Vick did, which is repaint the whole back tab.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing. I've never seen a discoloration on the plastic part of a Jordan 2, but it was no problem. We repainted it. We got the midsole attached to the uppers. After that, we wrapped up this restoration and got them looking brand new again. I do want to give a big thank you to A1 Restorations. A lot of the methods that restorers use nowadays are created by him. For example, if you guys ever see me use an X-Acto knife to remove the glue off the uppers, that was a method created by A1. I just want to give credit where it's due. Again, man, thank you so much for coming through and helping me out with this project. It came out so sick.
Thank you for having me, man. It was a blessing to work on such a grill.
Till next time, bro.
Hell yeah.
Catch you guys next Monday.